Hey everyone, this is Olay from Laddering Your Success, and you're listening to the LYS Podcast.
Good afternoon. I hope you are doing well. Friends and families, young and old, visitors, welcome to another Sunday of free student mentoring from LYS. I am Olay, joined every Sunday by my good friend Festus Amoye. Festus, how are you doing today, this wonderful Sunday, man?
Man, I'm doing well. This week was an excellent week, even rejuvenating. We went out to Galveston yesterday, and so got a time to just kick it with the kids and the wife and the rest of the fam, and that was really good. And so I'm happy to be here and happy to contribute to the dialogue that almost nobody's talking about except us, it seems. You know what I mean? or people are complaining about and not doing anything about it. We're doing something about it, right?
Absolutely. Man, how's the water in Galveston? I heard it. Remember, like growing up, we used to say it was super murky. And then there was like maybe 2-3 years ago, they were like, hey, the water quality is getting better out there. So how's it been?
See, to me, I don't know, because I've only been to Galveston about, I would say 5 times. And to me, it's never really been bad. It's just been not as good as Florida. You know what I mean? Like if you go to Florida beaches, I mean, white sand, crystal clear. Our water to me is clear. It's just when the mud kicks up, you know, because it's brown sand, that's where it gets murky. But it's not, I mean, the water is clear, you know what I mean? It's just the sand, you know. When you got the you know, the water looks like it's silver or blue and you got white sand, it's hard to be like, oh, this is a bad beach. But it's interesting because, you know, there's different beaches all over the world, man. And so I just say be grateful, because again, to be in an hour of a beach, you know what I mean? And I mean, I think we do a decent job of keeping the beach clean, because, you know, you can have a bunch of trash. I went to a beach in Italy. It's a pebble beach. So literally it was like pebbles. There's no sand. And so that's a horrible beach on your feet, right? On your feet, it's like, you know, and so to me, that's why I'm like, hey, I'm just grateful we got Galveston close by. You get out to Austin, you know, to lakes and rivers, you know, that type of thing. But yeah, I like it.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. That's very true. Got to appreciate what you got. Better an hour than 3 hours or something.
You feel what I'm saying? Think about Dallas.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you live in Dallas, where are you gonna go? You know what I'm saying? I mean, what is there? They do have a couple lakes that's kind of close by, but it's like, okay, if you're talking about a beach, you know what I'm saying? And so, like, at least if you're Austin, Lake Travis, you know what I'm saying? And Lake Travis is nice, you know. So Barton Springs, you know, you got some options out there, but
that's true.
You know, let's always take every effort we can to hate on Dallas.
Sir, I couldn't agree with you more, sir. I wholeheartedly, absolutely.
But yeah, man, what are we talking about today?
So today we're going to be talking about role models, man. We're going to be talking about role models today. You know, it's crazy. I was like, man, what are we going to talk about today? And I just opened up the book and I was just looking for something. I was like, man, some really good stuff on role models. Let's talk about role models. So that's what we're going to talk about today. All right. So let me wait for this. As always, there it is. As always, if you want to get in contact with us, here are the ways to get in contact with us. LYS students and _LYS on Instagram. On Facebook, just type in Laddering Your Success. If you want to get access to content that we have out there, different things that we're posting, different things that we're getting ready to do, find us on Facebook. On YouTube, same thing. Just type in Laddering Your Success in that search bar. On TikTok, LYS Do. Don't think I forgot about you, TikTok. We coming for you. Have not forgotten. We're coming for you. I remember what you did to me. I didn't
you know.
We're coming for you. Everyone's like, what did TikTok do to you guys? Man, they shut us down, man.
Yeah, TikTok be hating. They the ultimate haters. You know what I'm saying?
Hate.
TikTok be hating.
Hate. All right, we just got joined in by the one, the only D Hill.
Hill in the house.
Joining us.
What up, y'all? What's cracking?
Not much, man.
D Hill in the house.
What's up, baby?
D Hill said, we outside. We outside. Bing bong. Look here. If you want to send us a message, if you want to send us a message in the email, if you want us to come and talk to your school, want us to come and talk to your church, want us to come and talk to your youth group, right? If you have a group that could use our services, info@ladderingyoursuccess.com. That's how you get in contact with us. Discord coming soon. Do not forget, we got a Discord coming soon. We actually, in the next couple of weeks, actually, we got to get that going because
absolutely. Yeah, y'all tap in. Make sure you're following us across social media platforms, because when we launch the Discord, again, we want to be able to help parents out. We want to be able to help students out. We're your one-stop shop for everything career and college readiness, right? And this is the thing, we don't rip your arms off. We're not like these different organizations where they charge you and you go through the course and then you still have no idea what to do or where to start or anything like that. We want to tackle, the most important thing is tackle the heart of the parent and adult relation, or the parent-student relationship, right? Or the adult-student relationship, right? Because the thing is, as a student, if you are struggling telling your parents what you want to do, it's going to make it hard for you to make sound choice and get the support you need to get over to the other side. And as a parent, if you're struggling to talk to your kid about why they're choosing the path that they're choosing, then guess what? You're not going to come off as supportive, and they're probably going to resent you. And so we don't want that resentment. We want you to be able to work things out and be successful, have as little student loan debt as possible. I'm not saying it's going to be impossible, but you just want to minimize it, right? And then you want to maximize the fact that you're operating in your purpose with passion and get after the bag, right?
Absolutely. Get the bag. Make sure you secure the bag. The bag must be secure at all costs. And okay, I didn't get a chance to put that Cash App in. Festus, can you tell me that Cash App again so I can put that in for the next screen?
$ laddering your success. So if you love what we're doing and you're like, man, these guys are giving so much content, it's valuable what they're doing, and you just want to support us, just hit the Cash App, right? Just like those other people who got their cat. Now we Cash App them. You could Cash App us.
All right, now I got that in there. And I'm mad at myself for forgetting something that was so simple. But yes, $ laddering your success. All right, double the C, double the S. That's how you get success. All right, let's get into the topic, folks. I got a quote up here, and the quote says, "You're only as strong as your weakest link." You're only as strong as your weakest link. So think about that, right? Just think about a mama duck walking across the street with the other ducks, the ducklings behind her. Right? Think about that one at the very, very end who's got the leg, the leg kind of hurt its leg when it was hatching, right? Mama duck can't leave that little duckling. She's got to wait on that one too, right? And if it's a couple feet behind, she gonna wait. If not, it's gonna get left behind, right? So you're only as strong as your weakest link. So let's think about how that relates to us and the people around us. Right. What you're going to find as a young person is, as you're moving along, you're going to come across a group of people, and these people, you guys are going to just create this organism, right? Y'all are going to meld, y'all are going to gel together. They're your friends, they're co-workers, they're usually your friends and your family, right? And as you move along, you will notice that some of y'all are kind of moving in a certain way, right? You're kind of moving forward, but you may have some who are kind of late to the party. Having people around you, having strong people like that around you can help you grow, right? Just imagine if, you guys kind of aren't all moving the same way, how hard it is for you to move along, right? So that's what we mean when we talk about you're only as strong as your weakest link, right? This is something that goes across all sorts of avenues in life, right? Not just your friends and your family, business, financial, everything, right? You're only as strong as your weakest link, okay? So what are the things that you need to do? What are the things that you need to change in order to become stronger, right? So your network begins with family and friends. And so when we talk about network, we're talking about essentially like a system, right? This is a system of where we gain a lot of our beliefs, a lot of our understanding, we gain a lot of our values, we gain a lot of our personhood from our family and our friends. This is where we get the first semblances of those ideas, right? And where they come from. We get that from family and friends. Just think about the way that you grow up. I mean, just think about growing up. Identity, the way you speak, the way you operate, the way you move, the way you interact with others. Your parents, your brothers, if you have older brothers or older sisters, family members, that's how we gain an understanding of our culture. That's how we gain an understanding of ourselves and how we interact as people, right? So understand that. It's not a key principle, right? But it's one of those things that, well, for this lesson, it's going to be key. Network begins with your family and with your friends.
And that's a key thing to understand, especially for those who are just starting off careers, those who are just starting off deciding what they want to do in terms of what they want to do with their educations. There's a saying now, your network equals your net's worth, right? Mm-hmm. And so the thing is, as much as we take from our family and from our friends in the initial onset, we also have to be ready and willing to give back. Because oftentimes this is one thing I find is that people struggle with their family and friends, especially because of either forgiveness or somebody did something. And then that struggle makes it hard for them to build new bonds and new relationships, right? Because then everything and everyone just becomes transactional.
Yeah.
Right. And so this is the thing, and this is a gem, guys and gals and people who are listening, is that you want true, real relationships. That means how you function and operate within and amongst one another, not just to be transactional, right? Not just to be like, oh, you give me this and I give you that, because that is not a genuine relationship. Because when that person doesn't have that thing, whatever it is, next thing you know, they're gone, right? And then it's like, okay, until you get back on your feet, right? And so again, we even though we try to be a little academic here, we still learn from the streets. We learned a lot from Dame Dash, right? And even before Dame Dash, there was Master P, okay? If you go and look at, we call it the tree, right? Go and look at Master P and where he started, and look at all the businesses, the ideas, the people that he's connected with. Same thing with a Dame Dash. And so the thing is, when you're talking about your network and your family and your friends, right, in an academic sense, who are you learning from? Why are you learning from them? What are you contributing back to them? Because that's one of the biggest mistakes, especially when you start from the bottom. You might not feel that you have anything to give back, so you don't give back, right? Going up, right? So, all right, well, go ahead, Olay.
You reminded me, absolutely, man. Thank you so much for that. I was talking to some students. We had Meet the Teacher night on Thursday, and some of our old students came to visit, and they were just talking about, I was like, are you ready for middle school and stuff? Just chopping it up with them. And they were like, no, not really ready. I'm kind of scared. It's a big school. It's very easy to get lost. And I was like, don't worry, trying to be optimistic. I was like, she's like, I don't know where the restroom is. I'm like, it shouldn't be that hard. Just look for the thing with the logo with the girl on it. I mean, you'll be fine. And she was telling me like something to the effect of like, it's hard for me to make friends because people think I'm weird, this, that, and third, and all these things. I'm like, so that, and I, once again, just trying to turn a negative to a positive. I'm like, that's good though, because when you find someone who kind of sticks and keeps conversating with you, it kind of lets you know that because whatever it is about your character or your personhood that other people don't really tend to agree with or kind of makes it, pushes them away, that person's attracted to it. They like it. And so, right, that if they're around you for a while, that they genuinely like you. And I think that's, I'm like, that's a good thing. The thing that I thought about was so many of our kids they don't understand trust. And if you look at, that other slide that, that slide that we put up earlier, your network is like your family and your friends. And we miss out on a lot of these foundational things. And we're going to talk about that in one of our upcoming slides. So many of these very essential, right? Very essential things to becoming like a person, right? A self-actualized person who's moving towards being a person of purpose. They're missing out on, just like we need water, just like we need air. Right? These are some values that you need, that you got to have. And a lot of our kids are missing out on those things, right? So we're going to talk about those things. Next slide. What does the next slide say? All right. So, Festus kind of hinted on, he hit on this earlier. When you're going through your journey, always help your family whenever they are doing good work. What does that mean? If you see someone in your family who's doing something that's good, if they're doing something that's either helping out their community, helping out the family in any way, if they're doing good work, always help them, right? And one of the themes you'll always hear us talking about here at Laddering Your Success is we're always talking about like cycles. How when you do good things, right? It's just this beautiful cycle. You do good things and good things kind of come back and happen to you, right? If someone is doing good and you help that person with whatever they're doing, it's almost guaranteed that when you start doing whatever it is you're trying to do, that person is going to come back and help you. And when you think about one of the key principles that we talk about here again at LYS is we talk about being a friend to make friends. And this is part of what I feel kids go through now. A lot of young people just go through the motions, right? They'll do good things. Some of them will do good things just because that's what they've been told, right? There's a difference between doing good things because you've been told and doing good things because you really genuinely want to help someone.
Bro, that is a whole bar right there.
Right.
That is a whole bar. Like people don't understand how deep and rich what you just said was and is. Because this is the thing, like you said, for kids, oftentimes they're being pushed. Go volunteer, go do this thing, go do that thing. But when there's a good thing that it really comes from their heart, really comes from their mind, and they don't have any support to do that good thing, oftentimes it's like, well, I'm gonna just keep listening to whatever music, or I'm gonna keep doing whatever other thing that is not good. So that's why we really want to nourish and support, especially these kids who are coming out of having a hard time. That's one thing about some of the kids, and when I was doing church ministry, like I really enjoyed was like when they were just like, yo, I want to do good. I'm ready to do good. Because this is the thing, when they went to go do good, things will backfire on them. But the thing is, they still felt like, ooh, see, I did something good. You know what I mean? That came from me. That came from a real authentic, genuine place. So 100%.
Man, just think about that. We don't even think about that's so true, man. You don't even, when you do good, bro, it just feels good. When you do good, like it just feels good. And that's why I'm so thankful for, like the three of us. You met Daniel through me, and, I've known you for so long, Festus, and Daniel as well. I give you so many different examples. There've been so many times when, we've been in class or school, Daniel will just offer, food and stuff like that. And you can tell that there is no underlying mission, right? And you can almost tell, like, people who have been scarred. Hey, would you like some cake? Why? What comes with the cake? The feeling of satiety?
100%. 100%.
I don't, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But like you said earlier with the ministry, so many people have been like scarred, but it's so we're just thankful that like they still want to give, they still want to help. I'll give you a perfect example. Me and Festus go back and forth on like sometimes like who's cheaper, right? And go back, when I was helping my parents with fix their kitchen, we had a countertop guy come. And think about this. That dude was humble. That dude had discipline and he had integrity. He was honest. And I could just tell that he really loved what he was doing. He was just honest with me, man, just all the way through. I asked him for a break, for a deal. And he was like, yeah, I can drop it down for you. And I know that's the natural thing in us that we want to haggle.
Yeah.
So we're caught in between haggling and also respecting the quality of the work that someone's doing. You know what I'm saying? So when he finished, I was just so thankful. And also the fact, the previous guy that we called said it was going to take us a week, right, to get the whole thing done. Him and his crew, they got it done in like maybe 6-7 hours.
Wow.
They got everything done in 6-7 hours.
Wow.
So when I went to go take the money out of the bank account, I don't know what happened. Something just hit me. I was like, you know what? Like the process was just so seamless. Like, I'm gonna give him more. And I know I told you this. Like when I went to go give him the money, I was like, sir, I just put an extra 150. And he was like, nah, I can't do it. And I don't know why. I was about to tear up. I was just like, I need you to take this money. Be like, take the extra 150. I'm like,
do it for me. Do it for me.
I wasn't even mad. I was just like, because I just appreciated it, man. Like everything that he did. I had no qualms, no problem giving that up just to show my appreciation. Only, and then on top of that, I don't know how much business he's going to get because I'm telling everybody about this guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely need that guy for my mother-in-law, man. Because the way he came through for you, y'all should see the quality of this counter. I wish Olay could put up pictures. But yeah, you should see the quality of what the guy did. And I think that's the big thing, right? Is because, again, one thing that's not in the book, but that's out there, we do talk about laws, okay, when we talk about the system and stuff like that.
Absolutely, yeah.
But there is a law called the law of reciprocity. And basically, whatever you give out, that's what you're going to get back. If those who are Bible readers or listeners, it goes, you reap what you sow. Those who sow sparingly will also reap sparingly. And so the thing is, it's a spiritual principle that's not just about money, but it has a lot to do with money, right? If you're one of those people, and hopefully somebody hears this and they're like, man, it hits them that they're the one who doesn't trust, right? And they could forgive, and then they could start trusting, right? Because you're not going to get role models without trust, because a role model relationship is a relationship built on trust, right? You trust them that they're doing the right thing, that they're good, that they're a leader, whatever, something about them that you've seen that is quality that you trust. And then in vice versa, they trust that if they keep doing what they're doing, it's going to benefit people, right? And so the thing is, hopefully this really helps somebody out.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
You're still muted, Daniel. You're about to say something?
I'll shoot. Man. I was just over here tripping, man, because the pastor just preached on that, man.
Well, that's right. You told me stewardship.
Yeah. Stewardship. Matter of fact, that's same scripture. And I was talking to my homeboy today about, I think one pastor was talking about some kids, like the kids don't do this and that. But then I started thinking, man, like the Bible is like, we reap what we sow. Our kids are like this, like the kids are like this today because of what the parents sold into them in the past, what the world has sold into them. These kids give up because their parents gave up. These kids don't trust people because their parents were untrustworthy or the people around trustworthy. So if we want to reap a better generation, we need to sow something different, into their lives. And that was what God just hit me on. It's like, we complain about children seeing people as bad. Okay, why is that? Who have they seen their whole life? Which is you, the father, or the mother, the whatever, or kids not trusting pastors. Why is that? It's the pastor they saw in the past. You know what I'm saying? So we have to reap what we sow. And the pastor, I'll say, he was like, if you want something better in your life, then you have to sow something better. You know what I'm saying? If you sow in something, I'm just saying, if you sow in anger, then you will reap anger. If you sow in joy and peace, then you will reap joy and peace. So yeah.
Beautiful.
That's all, bro. That's all I want to say. Appreciate it.
Beautiful. Absolutely, man. All right. So.
My bad. That's a great quote, bro. I'm going to tell y'all that. I was driving. Help your family whenever they doing good work, bro. I just have to say, anybody listen, help your family who's doing good work. Stop helping people who don't want to do nothing.
Yeah.
That's what I like that.
So on the same theme of help your family whenever they are doing good work, talk them out of doing bad things, right? They both go hand in hand for the same result, right? Help them when they're doing good, talk them out of doing bad things. And it goes back even further to what we talked about one more before that. Network begins with family and friends. So let's start to put this together. If your network begins with family and friends, help your family, and we can add friends there whenever they are doing good work. Talk them out of doing bad things. Now, just in your mind, think about some possible results that can happen from that. If the people around you, right, your network, think about your closest family, your closest friends. If you help them when they're doing good work, if you talk them out of doing bad things, right, just start to think about how that affects you, the way you think, the actions that you take. I hate to be the guy that tells you it's not complicated, because in some ways, for different circumstances, it can be complicated. But at the foundational level, a lot of, when you think about what we talk about here at Laddering Your Success, these are, I kind of mentioned it earlier, these are essential, right? These are just essential things in order to create a person of purpose, a person of character, right? When you help your family and friends when they're doing good things, talk them out of doing bad things. If you talk them out of doing bad things, they may continue to do the bad things, but you've planted a seed. You've done your part, right? And if they're doing that bad thing, we just talked about in the previous slide, don't do that bad thing. Don't help them, right? One of the things that I think some of the teachers have said this, and even some of my kids have mentioned this, very, very powerful. The kids, when the kids start, they say out of the mouth of babes, right? The kids have been saying like, man, what's wrong is right and what's right is wrong. And I've heard a lot of people say that recently. Think about that. Our society, our culture has been so switched to where what's wrong is right and what is right is wrong. And so now more than ever, we need to have, people who understand, right? I want to say maybe a lot of common sense approaches, right? Because that's one thing I told my kids a lot last year. Y'all ain't got no common sense. Common sense is becoming less and less common, right? So that's why that network thing is so important, right? Help them when they're doing things. I can't stop reiterating that. Help your family and friends when they're doing good things. Talk them out of doing bad things. Talk them out of doing the bad things. All right. So now we're going to get a little bit more in depth. We're going to talk about role models, right? Because essentially that's all we've been talking about, role models. And I want to stop here real quick because I was actually having a conversation with my brother about this. I think when we think of role models, we think of people who are older than us, right? People who have kind of lived and experienced and done things, and we're like, yeah, that's my role model. This is my role model. And this not only goes for role models, this goes for getting advice. This goes for a lot of things. Your role model doesn't necessarily have to be older than you. I've got students, young people from my first year of teaching who were role models to me. You know why? They taught me accountability. I had students who came in ready to work, ready to do everything that I required of them, but I wasn't ready. And when I got mad at everyone, they reminded me, hey guy, you said you're gonna do this, this, and this. I've been here, and I looked and I'm like, dang, you're right. My bad.
Called it to the carpet, as they used to say.
Yo, look, let me tell you something. This is the time, boy, look, you better go get some HDI in your life. You better go get some humility, discipline, and learn some integrity in your life. It's gonna take you a long way. And we're telling you now because 'tis better to learn now. 'Tis better to learn when you have hair than when you don't have any hair. 'Tis better to learn when your hair is its original color than before it turns gray.
Oh, you see the grays in my beard. But this is the funny thing. For those who don't know what he's talking about in reference to HDI, those are the 3 values we recommend. Like if you're struggling saying, hey, I don't really know what my values are, is humility, discipline, and integrity, which are the 3 essential values to learning. If you don't have those 3 values, it makes it very, very difficult to learn. And a lot of people, they'll be like, well, what does values have to do with learning? again, when it comes to those role models, humility says, I don't know everything, right? I can learn from others. I should learn from others, right? Integrity keeps from things like plagiarism, keeps from things like, if the teacher tells you to do the work, actually doing the work, right? And then discipline is the consistency of going over the material over and over again. If you have those three basic values, then you could pretty much learn almost anything under the sun, right? Some things you'll struggle with if left brain, right brain, how you learn different types of things like that. But if you have humility, discipline, and integrity, you can learn almost anything. And it's funny because since we don't really teach character in school as much anymore, or character is just kind of sprinkled over, why do you think you get what we're getting from our politicians? Why do you think we're getting what we're getting from business leaders? You say, oh, capitalism is evil. No, capitalism is a theory, right? People have to run the businesses. You see what I'm saying? Same thing with, oh, school's bad. School's not bad. School's just there, right? People have to teach and run the admins and stuff. So the thing is, we're dealing with a failing personhood. We're dealing with failing beings. And this is why role models are so important. So again, I get on my soapbox, Olay get me started, and then I hop on the soapbox and let me hop off the soapbox. Olay, what you got?
We're thankful for soapboxes, because without the soapbox, we cannot get on the soapbox to make the points that need to be made.
That's the jazz clap.
So that's such a good word, because you reminded me of in Laddering Your Success, the book. I got the first edition. And real quick before I go, I got the first edition, and I opened the book up. I was like, yo, when I say I got notes in this thing, can y'all see those notes? Well, I got notes in this thing. I was like, wow, I didn't got whole paragraphs underlined and circled. But either way, in the book, Festus talked about church and state. In the Constitution, there's a separation of church and state, right? But what if you're a person who goes to church and you're voted to be president or senator or congressman or woman, or, at the local level, right? How do your morals and your values affect you when in the course of working, right? So it's like we have these different things that kind of separate it, but it's like Festus said, it's still people who have to go and do these things. It's still people who have to make these tough decisions. Now, I'm not saying, oh, these people don't go to church. No, it's not about that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, what are our leaders, what are they valuing to set the example, right? We all know that there are times, right, with more power, if you gain authority, there's going to be a lot more responsibility. When you are at that height of that level, and you've got to make a choice, which voice are you listening to, right? That's pushing your hand towards a particular direction, right? And so, so many times you hear young people saying these things, and they're just hitting on these buttons, right? These young people who do such a great job of knowing the difference between wrong and right. And you've got people at the very top who are just consistently just going in that other direction, right? They're going in that other direction. So that's a really good point that you brought up there. Really good point.
100%. Was that Spider-Man Uncle Ben, where he said, "Oh, Peter, he's getting ready to die. This is my Uncle Peter getting ready to die. With great power comes great responsibility."
Yeah.
And then well, I'm not laughing that he died, but Uncle Ben. Shout out to Uncle Ben for the knowledge, right?
For sure. All right. So, and talking about foundations for laddering your success, right? So when we talk about role models, we're going to start with the foundations, right? So at the bottom here, we have foundations. And if you notice, these are basically the 7 tenets or the 7 chapters of LYS: spiritual, educational, financial, social, cultural, health, and vocation, right? If you go up, we have experiences, right? Your own personal experiences and the experiences of others. And just as powerful as our experiences are the experiences of others. people don't realize this, but that one right there in the middle, the others, is the reason why my favorite subject is history or social studies. We had the opportunity as lifelong learners to learn about a vast array of issues, movements in society, new ways of thought, just so many different things, wars, and how they started, what led to them, and how they dealt with them afterwards. So many different experiences. And history doesn't repeat itself, but it's very, very close as far as movements and things that happen. And so here we go again. I'm going to use that word. It's like a cycle, cyclical, right? These things happen as people move, as people grow, as people learn new things. We naturally just move. We are these huge bodies. We're organisms on our own. Together, we are also organisms, right? Movements of people that happen. So that's a very important thing to always remember. And so as boring as it may seem to a lot of us, and that's the struggle, and that's the job of teachers, to take that which is boring and to make it engaging and meaningful to you. There's so many lessons to be learned from those different experiences, right? Primarily the others, right? And of course your personal experiences. Now at the very top, we have our gifts, talents, and abilities. Now this is such a great, visual, because it kind of shows you how your gifts, talents, and abilities kind of flow down to everything else, right? You having a foundation of these 7 tenets and an understanding of your experiences through yourself and others leads you to an understanding of your gifts, your talents, your abilities, right? And so just to see how that flows is really awesome. Festus, do you have something to say?
No, I definitely think that, again, this illustration lets everybody know that if you don't have those foundations in place, right, you then try to depend on the experiences of others and your personal experiences.
There you go.
And this is I know a lot of people are like, okay, what's the big deal with that? Why does that matter? Shouldn't you depend on, your personal experiences? All personal experiences are generally a reflection of past events and the perceptions you create going forward. So that means something happened, right? And you experienced it, and then you formed a perception, and then going forward, you operated with an attitude or a perception based off of that past experience.
Yeah.
And what that means is it really doesn't open you up to newness, right? Then there's kind of this is why kids walk around looking so defeated sometimes. It's because month after month, year after year, it's been compiled on them of these experiences, and they don't even realize, like, no, there's stuff outside of your experiences that you really, really need to establish so that you're not fully just dependent on the experiences of others and yourself, right? Because the thing is, again, if again, there's truth and then there's theory, right? If you operate off of somebody else's theory, right? Which I'm not knocking all theory, right? Anybody who goes to a 101 class, psychology 101, history 101, whatever, you're basically learning theory, right? But then there is truth that actually supersedes theory. Theory is going to be connected with truth, right? It should be, because that's the only way we could actually see it as a normative thing, right? And operationalize, right? But one of my professors taught me this. He said, truth must be embodied, right? We cannot know what's true without it being embodied. Yeah. Bro, when he said that, it took me 2 years to figure out what he was talking about. Okay, I thought about that statement for 2 years before I was like, oh, so that's when you got a deep professor, right? But it's like, I don't get it. And you keep on thinking about it. But anyway, I just wanted to share that real quick. Thanks. Keep going, Olay. You on a roll. Thank you.
Perfect, man. Thank you so much. That was exactly, that was almost word for word what I read in the book when I was getting ready. So that's perfect. Thank you. Awesome. So now we get a look, right? We're going to take this to the next level. What happens when you have to answer these questions by yourself? And that's exactly where we left off from where Festus stopped talking, right? What happens when you have to answer these questions by yourself? So let's think about what we talked about. We've talked about your network, being your family and your friends. We've talked about making sure that you help those friends and family when they're doing good, talk them out of what's doing bad, right? Talk them out of doing things that are bad. We talked about your foundations, how they relate to your foundations in our 7 tenets. But now, thinking about personal experiences and the experiences of others, what happens when you have to answer some of these questions about your world around you by yourself? And when I say these questions, I'm talking about in relation to the 7 chapters of LYS, or the 7 things, the 7 tenets that we kind of build our students, right, our young people by, all right? So just ask yourself this question. Who is your educational role model? Why? And don't say my educational role model is this person because they're smart, right? I mean, it's an okay answer. It's kind of vague. I mean, because they're smart. How do you know they're smart? How do you know they ain't cheating off someone, right? Who is your educational role model? Why? My educational role model is this kid named Ivan. Why? Ivan doesn't talk a lot in class. Ivan's always paying attention to the teacher. Ivan takes notes like crazy. He highlights. He's always asking these questions that are like deep. Like they're just really deep. The way he thinks is really cool. In the morning, whenever I see him, he's got a book while he's eating breakfast. When we're outside, he's always asking me if I study for this test, if I study for that quiz that's coming up. See the difference? So not only have you named that role model, but you've gone in depth and you've given evidence, right? And on top of all of that, he gets on a roll every 9 weeks, or every time there's on a roll, he gets on a roll, right? You see that difference? And so think about that now. Think about all those things that I named, right? All those things that I listed. He's always asking these really thought-provoking, these really deep questions, always paying attention in class. Whenever it's breakfast time, he's always reading. Think about now how that starts to affect your behavior. If you're someone who doesn't really ask a lot of questions, if you're someone who kind of stays himself, someone who likes to talk in class, right? Someone who, instead of reading a book or studying while you're eating, you're kind of playing with your friends, goofing off. And not to say there's nothing wrong with goofing off, but just having an understanding of those different things, right? Think about how that will start to affect you in the way you operate in class, right? And that's just one tenet there, right? That's just educational role model. Okay. Gosh, there's something I want to say, but I keep forgetting what it is. Festus, man, you guys got anything you want to add to that? Sorry, I can't see anything. I'm here. Oh, good. Okay, cool. Now, next thing, who is your financial role model? Why? Don't think that just because you're in the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade going on, that you can't have a financial role model. Don't think so. If I had a friend, you know how many times I was in middle school and I used to see friends with like a stack of ones, and thankfully they weren't doing anything too bad, And you'd be like, man, how do you get all that money? Oh, I helped my dad doing this. I helped my mom move some stuff. Or I've been saving my money, right? Or if there's someone that you see, through your adventures on social media, if you see a young person who's like, I'm doing this, and this, maybe, there are a lot of people who make money, playing video games, so many things that they're able to make money doing, right? Some kids at a young age know how to build websites. That's money right there, right? So make sure you have an understanding. Who is your financial role model? This person. Why? Man, they're able to save a certain amount of money. Every time we, even at our age, every time we go out, they just seem that they're always helping me out, right? So just keep those things in mind. Who are your financial role models? We're gonna keep it going. So we did like a 2-on-1 session with a student a couple of weeks ago. I think his name was Corin, right? And we asked him this question. We said, who is going to be your role model, or what's the model of good help to you? And he said there was a student that he played basketball with at his school who was really good. And so we said, what are you going to do to get there? And he was telling us he's going to work out, he's going to play lots of basketball, all these different things. And we asked him, we said, why is he like the role model, or like the person you look up to when it comes to that? And he said, because he's really, really good at basketball. And that's something that he loves. So when you answer some of these questions, ask yourself, what are some of the things that I love? And who are some people that are really good at that particular thing? Why are they good at that particular thing? Understand why they're good at it, right? Understand why they're good at it, and try to implement and adopt some of those things into your own life, into what you do. So all this is you're discovering about yourself. Self-discovery. Self-discovery. We are introducing you to yourself. Because here's the name of the game, folks. And I think we're going to stop here. Here's the name of the game. The beautiful thing about LYS, the beautiful thing about so many programs out there that are geared towards helping young people is, can I say I don't want to say you know what, let's call it that. The art of self-discovery. The art of helping you figure out who you truly are. Despite setbacks, despite the people who have told you you can't do it, Festus mentioned it earlier, despite those situations, those events that have created a reaction, right, that becomes a behavior, despite all of those things, what are your innate, what are those natural, what are those gifts that you have just always had within you, right? And how do you apply those things spiritually, from a health standpoint, from a financial standpoint, from an educational standpoint, from a social standpoint, from a cultural standpoint, from a vocational standpoint, from a financial standpoint, right? How do you cultivate those things to become a person of value? Because here's the thing, if you know your value, you will never lack. You're never going to be looking for things because you know your value. Now get this, there are adults who struggle with that. So what if by the time you get out of high school, you already know what your value is? You got a packet that says, this is my value. This is everything that I am. This is how I'm going to go about and put myself on a trajectory that my parents haven't hit, that my grandparents haven't hit, that their parents haven't hit. That is the art of self-discovery. Okay, so folks, we're going to finish this. That's going to be, we're going to stop there for today. Maybe we can continue this on next week because kids are coming back to school anyway. So, I mean, that seems pretty good. We got a couple more things to talk about there, and we can keep it going there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is a deep conversation and much needed. Go ahead. You were going to ask me something?
No, I was going to, I was just going to say, if you or Daniel had anything you wanted to add to that.
Yeah, I definitely think this conversation is an ongoing conversation because right now is a time where people need to find their tribes. And what do I mean by that?
Yeah, I was looking, can you say that again?
So when there's a disorganized situation,
Okay.
right? Let's say, for example, you're playing sports and I'll use the football analogy or the basketball analogy, right? There's another team in a different color jersey. And so the thing is, you want to pass the ball or you want to score, you want to go in the same direction as your team is going or trying to go. And in order to do that, you have to be wearing the same jersey. And in the same way, you have to find your tribe, right? And now where we're at, because of all this disorganization from COVID and all these different major events happening, right? It's harder to find your tribe because it's not just like you could just say, oh, this guy's wearing the same jersey as me, or this girl's wearing the same jersey as me. Mm-hmm. This is why a lot of things are boiling down to race, why people are just talking race. It's because they're actually trying to find their tribe and they're saying, well, the Black people should just be together then, right? That's not the truth.
Yeah.
Finding the tribe is I share the same culture, the same language, the same beliefs, the same understanding as you. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So that means you're going to be around a different variety of people, a different variety of people groups, right, that share these same beliefs and things. And so as we're finding our tribes, we need to understand what those role models are, because we need to know what tribes they're connected to so that we can connect as well. And this is the sad part. On social media, you got so many people, I'm a mentor, I'm a mentor, I'm a mentor, and they're serving knowledge, they're serving these different types of things. And I'm not knocking that, because we're doing the same thing, right?
Yeah.
But the major difference is they're selling you information and saying, okay, now what are you going to do about it? And a lot of times, this is the funny part. If you register for an online course, 90% of people never actually finish those online courses. And if you can't finish it, how do you actually implement what's in the online course? You can't.
Yeah.
Because you're missing the key information.
Mm.
And so a lot of people, they make these online courses knowing you're not going to finish, and they don't care as long as you pay for the course.
Talk to me.
And so that's why guys like Daniel, where he has a whole cryptocurrency course, educating people on cryptocurrency, and he's not over here trying to rip people's arms and legs off in order to do it, but he's just doing it from a passionate place of having seen examples of people who won off cryptocurrency, the way that they've gone about doing those things. These are the kind of people we need to uplift, we need to support, right? Because other people, and don't get me wrong, yeah, if he says pay the man, because he put something together, right? If we say, yo, this is what we're charging, please pay us, don't argue with us, okay? Because we hopefully know what we're doing, and you've seen the quality of what we put out, right? But there's a lot of people who are just taking advantage of people. And right now you need to find your tribe, so that way, again, you could be in the best possible place on the other side of this thing. Daniel?
Oh, no, man. No, man. I was just over saying, pay me. No, I'm playing. no, man. All right, y'all.
No, absolutely, man. That's such a good word. And that's awesome, because it kind of all goes back to, man, that tribe word was good, man. That's such a good word. That's such a good word, man, because
Facts.
if you just, I'm just thinking about my students, and not just my students right at the school, but just students everywhere. I just wish they had the capability to just, when you see someone, when we were younger, it was just that easy. It was almost a thing where, like, hey, you want my Play-Doh? You're my friend for life. You know what I mean? It was like that. Now, listen to me, man. You got 3rd and 4th graders, 5th graders. I teach 5th grade. Kids who are like, she's a manipulator. She's toxic. What? Are you reading the side of crayons right now? Toxic? That's the only time I saw. I remember, like, full disclosure, I was that kid. I used to
eat the crayons?
Nah, bro. I used to suck the juice out of markers, bro. Back in the day, man.
You used to suck the juice out of markers, bro? What is this guy doing? Yeah, wowzers.
Yeah,
that's why you like that.
Yeah.
I get it.
It just had me thinking, like, I don't know what. I'm just like,
Mama knows, baby. Mama knows.
But still, despite my imbalances, I still had friends. You know what I mean? Who accepted me for me. Like, that's Olay. Yeah, he eats the markers, but he cuts good. So we keep him around when we cut. He knows how to dig good holes. So, when we do our little thing in the back, in the playground, we keep him there. He's a cool guy.
This guy.
But that was like, everyone had their thing. You had the booger eaters. You had you had the guy who liked to trick people for no reason. You had those things. So it's just, I guess we just really need those people to let those young people know that, hey, it's not toxicity. It's not manipulators. They're just lacking humility. Yeah. They're lacking discipline. They're lacking integrity, right? I define integrity as, what do you do when no one's watching?
That's
what do you do when no one's watching? Are you the person when that thing is not there? You're gonna leave it alone, or you're gonna put it in your pocket? What do you do when no one's watching? That's integrity, right? So, wonderful talk, folks. We'll be back here next week. Let me pull this up Actually, I wanted to see if I could edit it. Oh, here it is. Literally give me 10 seconds.
I mean, you know what? That word tribe is real because you can be from
Absolutely.
the same culture, but not be. Well, you can be from the same culture, but say not the same tribe. Like your beliefs is what really makes you who you are. You know what I'm saying? People can be from the same area, but not really the same type of people, man.
100%. And that's,
Yeah,
you know,
that's a good word.
it's funny because being African, you know, we come from tribes, and so
Yeah.
we understand tribalism, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's just like, again, Yoruba is different from Igbo, is different from Hausa, is different from Fulani, is different from
Yeah.
all of these different tribes, right? And again, even though like Yoruba, Igbo are kind of like cousins, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're still very different. You know what I'm saying? We're still very different. So yeah, Olay got a couple more things. I guess he's going to give you the info. Again, make sure you're following us on social media. If you're not following us on social media, we're coming for you. But
Oh yeah.
Go ahead, Olay.
For sure. LYS students and _LYS on Instagram, IG, Instagram. On Facebook, Laddering Your Success. Just type that in the search bar. Same thing for YouTube. Type in Laddering Your Success on that toolbar in the search bar. TikTok, you know what's up? We're coming for you. Coming for you. I'm looking for you. Don't hide from me. I can see you. LYS BEKNOWDO. LYS BEKNOWDO. info@ladderingyoursuccess.com. info@ladderingyoursuccess.com for workshops. If you want us to come to your school, if you want to come and buy our material, if you have questions about any of our resources, where we're at, send us an email. Discord, we're coming soon. And lastly, I think there it is. $ Laddering Your Success on Cash App. If you want to make a donation, if you want to give to us, if you love what we're doing, if you love what we're about, please give us something. We totally appreciate it. It helps us move forward as we build a generation of lifelong learners and people moving towards their success, their purpose, right? For Daniel Hill, for Festus, I am Olayinka Sorunke. Thank you so much. And remember, folks, there are legitimate reasons to not going to college, but there are no legitimate reasons to not getting an education. Man, I got so good at that. Thank you so much, guys, for working on me with that. It took me about 3 months, but thank God we got there. All right, folks, y'all have a wonderful week. Stay good. For those of you starting school this week, God bless you. Be strong.
All right, y'all. Be blessed.
All right, now.
Oh, you still there? Well, thank you so much for listening to the LYS podcast.